Bass solo, go. I threw a little 5 in there too. I'll repeat it. Maybe I'll respond to it now. Add it to it. Different register. All upbeats, syncopations, minor pentatonic scale. Flat 5 into the 4. 3, 1, 7. Flat 3, flat 7, you know, minor pentatonic. Chromatic octaves. Even going to the major third still sounds kind of cool. Chromaticism can be a motif. What was that? Now I got the idea when I was playing those octaves chromatically. Started thinking about how chromaticism can have its own effect. You can take a simple idea. In some of the other lessons you'll hear me talk about chromatic approach notes. And chromatic approach notes in the jazz context just means if you're going to a C, you might get there from a D flat to a C or a B to a C. You're chromatically approaching that target. You can do the same thing with entire lines or entire licks. If, say, you have a favorite lick, you can start that a half step up. And it adds a little bit of tension and release. You're creating tension and then you're resolving it. You can move a line chromatically up and down as much as you want. You could do it D, D flat, C, and then stick the landing. That's what it's all about. It's all about coming back home and sticking the landing, you know, Olympic style. You can also chromatically approach from a below, above, then down in the right key. So you can kind of circle around and then target. You can come down, you know, from above to target, from below to up to target. You can do anything. You can do that with single notes. You can do that with entire lines. You can do that with entire developmental concepts. I've said it before. I have a teacher who used to tell me all the time, there's no such thing as a bad note, just a bad resolution. You can make anything work, which is why I've also at times practiced playing wrong notes and trying to resolve them, try and feel and figure out where the notes want to go. You know, if I'm in C minor pentatonic, obviously, if I hit a D flat, it's going to sound pretty wrong. The only thing that makes it wrong is if I hit that and I like kind of freak out and stop and reorient. Everybody goes, oh, he blew it. But if I lose my fear of that bad note through practicing playing bad notes and resolving them, I can use that bad note, wrong note, as a motif. You know, I could all of a sudden decide to start approaching all the right notes by a half step off, turning that bad note into a motivic concept. You know, it's one of those things on the fly that might save you in a line, and maybe it won't sound like the greatest idea in the world, but it'll make it sound like an idea instead of a mistake. You know, and even a mediocre idea is better than a bad mistake. And there can be a very fine line between those things. It's all on how you approach them. So let me practice playing some wrong notes. I'll play some simple ideas, hit some bum notes, and then see if I can make them work. I'm going up and I go to hit a C and I go D flat. Half step above the fifth, into the fifth. Half step up to the minor third. All of the primary chord tones from a half step above, resolving down with good rhythm, turns it into an idea. Maybe not the coolest lick ever, but it turns it into a mediocre idea instead of a bad mistake. Even if you do one of these, repeat it. Might be hard to make it work well, but it's one of those things. Maybe people might recognize them it's a mistake, but they'll appreciate that you had the wherewithal to try and incorporate it as an idea. People love that stuff. I get off on that stuff because everybody makes mistakes. Everybody understands that. But not everybody knows how to handle the mistakes and incorporate them into life, which is kind of, the secret to life. Thinking in 2-bar phrases or 2 double-length phrases, having one phrase that does one thing, but then that same phrase slightly changed turns it into a longer concept. Vibrato turned into a motif. Same idea, slid up 2 octaves, I guess. Same idea, bumped up an octave, bumped up another octave. If you watch some of my rhythmic lessons and the rhythmic clinic, you'll get a lot of material and information about subdivisions and rhythmic groupings. If you incorporate that kind of stuff, take a simple idea, repeat it with a longer rhythmic value for each note,